they don't harm the lungs. The main area of smell or the olfactory region is the uppermost section of each nasal cavity, and connected to the olfactory cells are the fibers of the olfactory nerves, which conveys most of man's sensations of odor to the brain. So you know it's directly connected to the brain, so it carries sensation of odor to the brain. Then a substance gives up molecules to the air to be smelled. Inhaled with air, the molecules come in contact with the endings of the olfactory cells. The molecules dissolved on a wet epithelial surface stimulate these cells, which send impulses along the olfactory nerve fibers to the olfactory lobes of the brain, then impulses to an area where sensation is sensed. The brain interprets this kind of smell, and the sense of smell is important for enjoyment of food. When the olfactory membrane is inflamed, such as when you have cold, catarrh, or your nose is blocked, or the nose is dry, the sense of smell is temporarily impaired, such that the individual finds it difficult to distinguish between the flavor of various food. You can't really perceive. Someone says something is smelling, you say you can't perceive it because something has happened. The olfactory membrane has been inflamed by the catarrh, cold, blocked nose, or dry nose. So that is why it is the sense of smell is very important, and you should take care of your nose. Now we move to the next organ, and that is the organ of taste, which is the tongue. The tongue is a thick muscular organ of taste that is situated in the buccal cavity of vertebrates. So it is situated in the mouth. You can see the tongue is situated in the mouth. The upper surface of the tongue is covered by small rounded projections called papillae. The papillae gives the tongue its characteristic tough appearance, and it contains special chemoreceptors or sensory cells called the taste bud. So you can taste with your tongue. You can taste things with your tongue. The taste buds are sensitive to chemicals present in food, drink, or air, and the receptors in the taste bud can only recognize 4 classes of chemicals, which give the taste sensation of either sweet, sour, salt, or bitter. So those are the 4 classes of chemicals that the taste sensation can perceive: sweet, sour, salt, and bitter. The tip of the tongue is the one that is sensitive to sweet and salt flavors. Look at it. Sweet and salt flavor, the tip of the tongue. You see, sweet at here, then salty at both sides. Then the side of the tongue is sensitive to sour substances. Look at it. The 2 sides. That's where you taste the sour substances, and you can feel that this thing is sour. Then the back of the tongue is the one that is sensitive to flavor. The back is the one that is sensitive to bitter flavor. Now, like other sensory nerve, each nerve of the taste is sensitive to one sensation only. That is, one particular nerve will only find out whether a particular substance is sweet or not. Now, we look at the other function of the tongue aside tasting. Now, it mixes food with saliva containing enzyme tyalin. Then it moves food in the mouth. So you can roll your food in your mouth. Then you can swallow bolus into the esophagus or the gullet through the tongue. You swallow. Then chewing, the tongue brings about chewing, licking, speaking, and clearing the mouth. So those are the other functions of the tongue. Now the next sense organ is the skin. Next sense organ is the skin. Now we want to talk about the sensation of the skin. In the dermis of the skin, I had told you that earlier when we were talking about regulation of internal environments. I talked about the skin. That is divided into 2 basically, the dermis and the endodermis. The dermis and the epidermis. The epidermis is the upper surface, while the dermis is the true skin inside the body. Now, In the dermis of the skin, there are numerous sensory cells or sensory nerve endings, such as those that receive and respond to stimuli of touch, of pressure, of heat, cold, or pain. So it's your skin that feel all those. You feel, oh, the weather is cold, oh, there is heat, oh, a pain in the body, it's the skin that feels it. When somebody touches you or something is touching you, it's the skin that helps you to feel that. The sensory cells are more concentrated in some regions than others, and sensory cells that remove the stimulus of touch or heat are more concentrated in the epidermis. So when there is heat or touch, you feel it easily on the skin. That's the epidermis, the outer layer. While the finger cells are well supplied with cells. When the nerve ending receives a stimulus, it transmits a nerve impulse via the nerves to the central nervous system and then to the brain, which interprets the sensation and makes us aware of the sensation. Generally, each type of nerve ending responds to only one stimulus, just as we have in the tongue too. A heat receptor will send off a nerve impulse if its temperature were raised, but it will not send a nerve impulse if it were touched, because it's not concerned with touch, it's a heat receptor. Now we move on to talk about the hair. The mammalian hair is divided into three parts. We have the outer hair, the middle hair, and the inner hair. The outer hair consists of the pinna. This is the pinna, and the external auditory canal. So you can see the pinna, it is labeled for you there. Then the middle hair consists of the eardrum, which is also called the tympanum, and a chain of three small bones or ossicles called malleus, also known as ama, incus, also known as ani, and stapes, also known as sterol. So the middle hair consists of the eardrum and small three bones, a chain of small three bones. We have the malleus, incus, and the stapes, all articulated together. The cavity of the hair is connected to the pharynx or the throat. So internally, your hair is connected to your throat by the eustachian tube, through which the pressure inside the hair is equalized with that of the atmosphere. The hair brings about balance, so that is why it does that. Then the inner hair consists of series of fluid sac and tubes, namely three lobed canals called the semicircular canals, the utriculus, then the circulus, and snail cell-shaped canal called the cochlea. The cochlea looks like, look at it, it looks like the shell of a snail because of its shape, and that is the cochlea. All these constitute the membranous labyrinth, which is surrounded by a fluid called the perineum, and the bony labyrinth, while its inside is filled with another fluid called the endolymph. The semicircular canal are positioned on the utriculus at the right angles to each other, and each base bears a swelling known as ampulla, concerned with maintaining balance. Now, what the functions of the hair? First is for hearing, and I want to talk more about that. Sound waves collected by the pinna, that's the external hair, pass into the auditory canal to the tympanic membrane, causing the membrane to vibrate. So when there is sound wave that the air gets, the outer hair gets, it causes a vibration, and this vibration is picked up by the three air ossicles in the middle hair. You know, I mentioned the three air ossicles that are articulated together, and then they amplify and pass into the inner ear through the oval window. The cochlea now, that's the snail shell shaped structure in the inner ear, is filled with endolymph and surrounded by perilymph. The oval window is also set vibrating, causing waves to be set in motion into the perilymph of the inner ear. Waves in the perilymph causes the endolymph to vibrate, and this stimulates the sensory cell, that's the organ of cutting, of the cochlea, which then generates nervous impulse that is carried through the auditory nerve to the brain, where it is interpreted as sound. So you can see that all these sense organs are connected near to the brain. You can see your hair is connected to the brain, located in the head, your eye, your nose, your tongue, even skin we have skin covering the brain too. Then the next function of the hair is balance and position. The semicircular canals, the utriculus and the circulus help to maintain body balance and posture. These three are filled with endoleaf and contain granules of calcium carbonate and calcium phosphate called otoliths. They possess sensitive ears in the ampulla. As the animal moves, the endoleaf and the particles move, so that the sensitive ears or nerve ending in the ampullate are stimulated. This sensation is transmitted as impulse, which are sent to the oblongata and the cerebellum through the auditory nerve to the brain, which interprets the position of the animal. Now, the brain then sends appropriate reflexes, which restores the body to its normal position. Spinning round in one direction for a long time causes the endoleaf in the circular canals to pick up speed. You know, when you are just moving around, spinning around, it will cause the endoleaf in the semicircular canal to pick up speed. On stopping suddenly, the fluid continues to flow around. This stimulates the sense organ in the ampulla of the semicircular canal, causing the ground to appear to spin, thus giving a feeling of dizziness. You know, maybe when you were young, you were playing and you're just spinning around and you didn't stop. The endoleaf in the semicircular canal pick up speed. So when you now suddenly stop, when you don't stop gently for there to be a restoration of the endoleaf also stopping, and you just abruptly stop, you discover that the ground where you are standing begins to spin, and just like that, sometimes you can even fall. And that's what this is analyzing, that is this sense organ is stimulated such that the ground will spin and